Today, I want to talk about the principle of strength and how strength is sometimes not exactly what we think it is, or we tend to think we're not strong if we don't behave or act in a certain way. Then, of course, there's strength with physical strength, things like that. So I want to start with defining true strength. Let's start by rethinking what it means to be strong. Many of us grew up with the notion that strength is about being tough, never showing weakness, and always keeping it together. But is that really what strength is? Here's my quote from the other day and how I define strength. True strength isn't about never falling. It's about having the courage to rise again after we've fallen. To me, it's about resilience, the ability to bounce back, and the determination to keep going despite the obstacles in our way. It's like the image or the picture that I had the other day of a flower pushing its way through a crack in the concrete, finding a way to thrive in an environment that's seemingly hostile to growth. So that's how I define strength. One major misconception is that strength is synonymous with perfection. We often think that being strong means never making mistakes, never feeling down, or always having a handle on things. But in reality, the strongest people are those who can face their struggles head on, acknowledge their vulnerabilities, and keep moving forward. That's strength. I've been faced with a significant setback in my life, and it's actually allowing me to really lean in to how I'm showing up through this. It's not always perfect. It's never perfect. And I want to be authentic in that struggle that I'm going through. For a while, I thought if I showed up or showed how much I was struggling, it'd mean that people would be like, wow, here he is, a coach. He's sharing all these inspirational stories. How can he be going through a tough time? But as I leaned into this, I realized that's the opposite of the experience. Accepting the situation, seeking help and connecting with my community, and taking it one step at a time. And I found a strength I didn't know I had. It was those moments of vulnerability that I discovered my true resilience. As many of you probably have read or know the story of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison, enduring unimaginable hardships. Yet, when he emerged, he didn't let bitterness or anger consume him. Instead, he focused on reconciliation and building a better future for his country. That's truly inspiring, and still an inspiring story to me on strength. As you reflect on what strength means to you, remember that it's not about having it all together all the time. It's about how you handle the times when things fall apart. It's about getting back up after you've been knocked down. And it's about finding the courage to keep going, even when the path ahead looks tough. Now that we've redefined what true strength means, let's take a closer look at the environments where this strength is forged. The tough, challenging conditions that we often face in life. These are our concrete, the seemingly impenetrable barriers that test our resilience. Think about the concrete in your own life. These are the tough, unyielding situations that make it hard to thrive. They can be personal struggles like health issues, financial difficulties, relationship problems. They could also be professional challenges like job loss, career setbacks, or high pressure environments. Each of these situations can feel overwhelming, like a solid slab of concrete blocking your path. Adversity can shape us in profound ways. It tests our limits, and I think often pushes us to places we've never thought we'd go. As I reflect on these moments of challenge, we have the opportunity to grow the most. That's when those moments become truly powerful. It's like the flower growing through the concrete. Its roots have been strong and determined to find a way to the surface. Let's break this down a bit more. Not all concrete is the same. Some challenges might be like thin cracks, annoying but manageable with a bit of effort. The day-to-day grinds, the little things that just kind of bug us. Others might be thick, solid slabs that seem insurmountable. Recognizing the type of adversity you're facing can help you figure out the best approach to overcome it. And that's the part that I've really been looking at and working through. How to approach it and then how to overcome it. Let's use an example of maybe you're facing a health challenge. The diagnosis might feel like a massive, impenetrable barrier, but many people, through sheer determination and support of loved ones, find a way to not just survive, but thrive despite their condition. They adapt, find new ways to enjoy life, and often come out stronger and more appreciative of every moment. We've seen those stories. They've been inspirational. We've seen them on social media, movies, that kind of stuff. We admire those stories and always wonder, how do they get through? Facing adversity requires a combination of acceptance and effort. First, acknowledge the reality. This is where sometimes people get caught. We want to acknowledge the reality situation without minimizing it. It's okay to feel frustrated, scared, overwhelmed, anxious, all the emotions that come up. These emotions are natural, but we can't dwell in them. We have to see them, feel them, accept them, and then focus on what we can control. Set small, achievable goals that can help you chip away at the concrete bit by bit. It's the small, consistent efforts that make the big change. The other thing I like about adversity and its relation to strength is it can also be a catalyst for changing your mindset. Instead of seeing challenges as purely negative, you can view them as opportunities for growth. This isn't about being unrealistically positive, or as some people like to call it, toxic positivity. It's about recognizing that even the toughest situations can teach us valuable lessons and help us develop new strengths. Now we've defined the concrete in our life and the different thicknesses of concrete we face in life. How can we bloom through these tough environments? This process of blooming is about finding ways not just to survive, but to thrive despite challenges. I think the first step in the blooming process is acceptance. As I said before, this means acknowledging the reality of your situation without sugarcoating it or denying your feelings. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about recognizing where you are so you can plan your next step. Just like that picture of the flower, understanding its environment before it begins to grow, and then it pushes through. So how do we do that? I think the best way is the mindset shift. We need to shift the mindset. Instead of viewing adversity as an obstacle that we cannot see a way around, we can start to see it as an opportunity for growth. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It's not about being overly positive. I really want to stress that. You can still show up and be positive, and two things can be true at the same time. You could be feeling like shit, but you can step back and recognize that feeling and the challenge that are facing you, and then recognize that they're going to help you develop new strengths, learn important lessons, and become more resilient. Become a better version of you. And then there is some practical tips. Once you've accepted the situation and shifted your mindset, you can take action. And this is where we can all use basic, practical action steps to help us bloom through adversity. Number one, set small, achievable goals. Break down your larger challenges into smaller, manageable tasks. This makes the situation feel less overwhelming and gives you a sense of progress and a sense of accomplishment, something to anchor your forward progress to. Step 2, seek support. Connect with your community, connect with your friends, connect with your loved ones, whether it's a family member, a professional therapist, a coach. Having a support system can provide you with the encouragement and perspective you need to work through the challenges. Number 3, practice self-care. It's so important to continue taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being in this process. This might include and should include regular exercise, eating healthy, mindfulness practices, and simply taking the time for activities that you enjoy. Find joy. Joy is a key component to staying healthy and helping us through these times. Number 4, stay flexible. So this is where I talk about that adaptability. Don't be so rigid that you can't veer off the path a little bit when you find there's things that need to be changed in your plan. Life is unpredictable, and being flexible allows you to adapt to new circumstances without feeling defeated. 5, celebrate the small wins, people. Acknowledge and celebrate your wins every day. No matter how bad the day is, each day has a small win, usually a bunch of them. Each step forward is a victory, and it helps build your momentum. So celebrate those wins as you go through. Reflecting on your own experiences, I want you to think about a time when you faced a tough situation. How did you handle it? What did you learn? That previous challenge can provide you valuable insights and remind you of your capacity to overcome challenge. And sometimes I think we can get caught in a new challenge, be like, how am I going to get through this? But if we just take a moment and reflect back of the other adversities we faced in life and how we got through those, we've already started to develop the skills to get through the challenge in front of us. Remember, blooming through adversity isn't about being perfect or never feeling down. It's about resilience, determination, and finding ways to thrive even in the toughest conditions. It's about being that flower that finds a way to push through the concrete and bloom. Now that we've talked about the process of blooming through adversity and building our strength, I want to dive deeper into some personal reflections and a little story or an example of a client and how they illustrated strength and resilience in the hardest times. So my personal story is my relationship expiring, and I really never thought that was going to happen. I recognized that we were facing some challenges, but I was just doing the things that I'm talking about here. I was working through those challenges. I was facing those challenges. But I was always coming from a place that we'll figure this out. We will get through this. And at some point, I think there's also a time when you have to take a perspective of what's healthy for you. And doing the work on yourself is so important, but you also have to recognize when it comes back to that flexibility part that I just mentioned, when it's time to change direction, when it's time to course correct. I was feeling uncertain about things. The conflict was increasing in frequency And I'm not a good person with conflict, especially very heated, aggressive conflict. And I was just seeking a place of safety to try to develop my ability to have some clarity about what it was, what the challenges were. And I think the conflict was getting so frequent that I was starting to lose the path of how to get through it. And then I was seeking safety in a place where I could find clarity. And that's when, things came to the point where it was time for both of us to agree that it's just going to be ending. The conflict continued to happen more frequently, and it continued to escalate. And that made me really uncomfortable and felt very unsafe. And so I was moving to a place where I was trying to find some safety. And through that discussion, my partner and I decided that it wasn't going to work. And that's where that adaptability came. And we decided to end the relationship. And things didn't go smoothly. I don't have a place to live right now. I'm going nomad. I have my truck and camper, Tortuga, and I'm going to live in that for the summer. Tour around and spend time in nature and spend time riding my mountain bike and spend time with my friends. That's my personal story on adversity and why I came up with this post today on strength. Because I think strength is something that we can apply that principle of strength into all areas of our life. I also wanted to share a quick little story about a client who faced a pretty serious personal crisis. And similar to me, they were dealing with the end of a long-term relationship, which left them feeling lost and broken. And it seemed impossible for them to see a way forward. And they began to rebuild their life. They focused on self-care, set small goals, and gradually found new passions and interests. Not only did they heal, their journey wasn't easy, but their resilience and determination was truly inspiring. The lessons I take away from these two stories is resilience is a skill. It's something that we develop and strengthen over time, and we have to practice it, bouncing back from setbacks. Each time we do that, we become more resilient. Support is crucial. Having a network of supportive people can make a huge difference, whether it's friends, family, or professional. We don't have to face adversity alone. We heal and overcome adversity in relation. And the third lesson, growth is possible. Even in the darkest times, people, there are opportunities for growth and transformation. By shifting our mindset and taking steps, we can turn challenges into stepping stones for success. And I know I've said that before, and it's true. So I encourage you to reflect on your own experiences with adversity. Think about a time when you faced significant challenge and how you got through it. If you're currently going through a tough time, know that you're not alone. Take things one step at a time. Reach out for support and believe in your ability to grow through the experience. Remember that flower that blooms through the concrete. It doesn't do so overnight. It takes time, patience, and a lot of determination. We've journeyed through redefining strength, understanding adversity, and learning how to bloom in tough environments. I want to take a little time to wrap it up this episode with some encouragement and a practical call to action. I'm going to try to be a little more conscious in the end of my episodes to help you bring in some of these principles into your daily life. For today, I want to remind you that every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow. No matter how hard the concrete seems, there's always potential for you to push through and bloom. Strength isn't about being invincible. It's about being resilient, adaptable, and courageous in the face of adversity. Celebrate the small victories you've achieved in the past. Each one of those moments is a testament to your strength. Celebrate those wins. No matter how minor they may seem, they are stepping stones that have brought you to where you are today. So my call to action for you today is the following. 1, reflect and journal. Take some time this week to reflect on a recent challenge that you faced. Write down how you approached it, what you learned, and how you grew from the experience. This reflection can help you and reinforce your inner strength and give you a clearer perspective on your resilience. Number 2, set a small goal. Identify one small achievable goal related to your current challenge. It could be anything from starting a new hobby, reaching out to a friend for support, or simply dedicating time to self-care. Take one step toward this goal and celebrate your progress. Number 3, if you want, share your story of resilience on social media with me or with a trusted friend or coach. Sharing your experience can inspire others and build a supportive community. Number 4, make self-care a priority. Anything can be mindfulness practices, exercise, healthy eating, engaging in activities that bring you joy. Taking care of yourself is essential for maintaining your strength and resilience. And number 5, if you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out for support. Whether it's talking to a friend, joining a support group, or seeking professional help, you don't have to go through it alone. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. So my last thought today that I want to leave you with is the journey of blooming through adversity is ongoing. It's not about a final destination, but about continual growth and learning. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a testament to your resilience and strengths. That's today's Daily Truths, and I'll see you tomorrow.